At a little after 1 p.m., Ruth Masters leaves her young family, hops on her bike and starts down a path leading into the woods. As she rounds a bend, a man emerges from the tree line, a .22 rifle in his hands. He cracks the butt of the weapon across Ruth Masters' skull and drags her limp body back into the woods. As night descends, Ruth Masters is still missing, and law enforcement prepares to search the park, beginning the next morning at sunup. Over 100 people wade into more than 25 square miles of forest and field and work their way through the underbrush. Less than 150 feet off one bike path, they find Ruth Masters, lying on her back, skull crushed, body mutilated. George Madsen and Maureen Attino are Plymouth detectives and members of the search team.
She was crushed on the side of her head. It was just a lot of, very physical things that had been done to her body.
She was pretty well carved from her anal area all the way up to her throat.
Police process the scene for evidence. They find the victim's jacket, apparently ripped from her body during the attack, and a magazine clip from a .22 rifle. Masters' body is removed from the park and autopsied. Despite the mutilation done to the body, no evidence of semen is found. The .22 clip found at the scene yields no prints and is impossible to trace to any particular gun shop or owner. One of the few potential leads comes from a park ranger.
He saw a blue motor vehicle with black roof racks packed on the side. And many days and weeks we spent driving around through the reservation looking for any vehicle like that.
Months after Ruth Masters was murdered, the car remains a mystery. And Plymouth detectives have no leads or suspects in the case. On October 1st, a 20-year-old named Laura Lee Clark hitches a ride near Cape Cod's Bourne Bridge. A few miles into the ride, the driver pulls off the road and attacks Clark. She manages to escape and takes her tale to Plymouth police. Two things about the story hold special interest for Detective George Madsen. First, the man used a knife. Second, he drove a blue Nova. Both details fit the profile of the man Madsen suspects attacked and killed Ruth Masters 5 months earlier. Madsen gets the tag number of the car and calls its owner, a 50-year-old named Eric Anderson.
He said, "Oh, I know what you want to talk to me about that girl." I says, "What girl is that you're talking about?" He said, "Oh, the girl I picked up down at the, where the bridge is." And I said, "Yeah." When we questioned him about the Clark incidents. He admitted everything as far as that goes. Then we also talked to his wife and him, and they gave us permission to search his home and to search his vehicle. In the home, in the back porch of the home, is where we observed these black roof racks that were single black roof racks.
Black roof racks, a distinguishing feature of the blue car, seen in Miles Standish Park on the day Ruth Masters was murdered. Detectives run a background check on Anderson. The father of 3 is on parole with a record for breaking and entering and assault to rape. He is listed as a sexually dangerous person by the Massachusetts Department of Mental Health. As a result of the hitchhiker assault, his parole is revoked and he receives 8 to 10 years. Despite the suspicions of the Plymouth PD, the blue car, and the roof racks, charges are never filed in the Masters murder.
There was no way of proving it. There was no way of saying he did it. And that's the way that our system works.
Ruth Masters' case eventually makes its way into the cold files, and its main suspect, Eric Anderson, drops off police radar. Two men come upon an unusual sight. A local woman running down the road, screaming hysterically and bleeding. Maine State Trooper Brian Smith listens to the woman's story.
While driving out the road, she had observed this red pickup on the side of the road with the hood up, and a man, elderly man that she had seen before, apparently working on the engine of the pickup.
The woman, 27-year-old Edith McKendry, pulled over and offered a ride. The old man accepted.
So she was moving things out of the seat of her car when he attacked her with a knife.
McKendry fought off the attack, sustaining several cuts and a broken nose in the process. She describes her attacker and his pickup in detail. Smith believes he knows who the man might be.
I recognized him as a man that I had talked with earlier in the year and knew who she was describing as Eric Anderson.
Eric Anderson is now 63 and a free man after serving 10 years for attacking a hitchhiker in Massachusetts. It doesn't take long for police to catch up with him. 2 days after his arrest, Anderson confesses to the Maine attack. He pulls 25 years for the McKendry assault and heads back to the big house. Still a suspect in the Ruth Masters murder, still innocent until detectives can come up with evidence to prove him guilty. Rick Nagel is a sergeant with the Massachusetts State Police Cold Case Squad.
I made a call to the district attorney's office in Plymouth County and asked, I'd like to transfer it down to Plymouth County, but only if I could work on this case.
Nagel gets the okay from the district attorney and begins to work the Masters case. This is Eric Anderson's home, Maine State Prison.
Eric wasn't a real popular person in prison, so he didn't have many friends.
Nagel compiles a list of names, inmates Anderson knew in stir, men who are willing to talk. Nagel recalls one inmate's conversation with Anderson about mutilation and murder.
Says what you do is you cut him from nose to toes, watch him bleed out, you watch the skin turn pale, watch the cold set in, the eyes roll back, then you start cutting off body parts.
Another inmate provides the specifics Nagel is looking for. Details about the attack in Miles Standish Park.
He said that Eric told him that Ruth Masters was walking the bike up the bike trail. He then told me Eric hit her on the upside of the head. He said to me that Eric put her in the woods and he wanted to bury her, but he heard someone and he left.
3 men, all convicted murderers, eventually agreed to testify in court against Anderson. None of them receives any deal in return for their cooperation. Their motivation for talking, even in the world of killers, Eric Anderson stands alone.
After I get the statement, I want to know why, and I'm going to put it in a report. Why are you telling me this? And they all said the same thing individually, because Eric is a sick mother effer, and they don't want to see him out in the street.
26 years after Ruth Masters' death, Eric Anderson stands trial for murder.
He hates women. And the thing I learned about Eric Anderson, there's no rhyme or reason. All you have to be is a woman, and he's going to kill you.
After a week of testimony and 9 hours of deliberation, the jury returns its verdict. Eric Anderson, now 76 years old, is found guilty of murder and sentenced to a term of life in prison.
This is a unique cold case because there's no forensic, there's no eyewitness, there's no confession. There was nothing there. It was a box with dust, and you have no, how do you do it? Well, this is how you do it. It takes thousands of man-hours, and it's little pieces of the puzzle, and you just take your time and try to put it together.